Well, hello again. I'm glad to see you here again at the My Place with Jesus Club. Now let's see what our Bible verse says today. It's found in Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 2. My hands have made both heaven and earth. They and everything in them are mine. I, the Lord, have spoken. I will bless those who have humble and contrite hearts, who tremble at my word. You know, God created our whole world, didn't He? He created the plants, the fish, and He created you and me. But have you ever heard of God or Jesus bragging about it? Well, no, never. God the Father and Jesus would not brag because they are humble. To be humble means that no matter how important or wonderful you are, you're not proud. A humble person does not brag and is not arrogant. Our verse tells us that God loves to bless His humble children. Now, there was another man long ago that was very important, but he was humble too. One day, General George Washington rode out to check on some of his men. This was in the times before photographs or television, and so as he rode up, the men did not know that he was their leader. They had never met him. Well, the men were working hard to raise a large beam of wood up onto a roof. It was hard work, and the men were having a very tough time getting the beam up onto the roof. General Washington saw that their leader, the corporal, was sitting on his horse just watching the men struggle. "Why do you not help the men?" General Washington politely asked. "Sir," said the corporal angrily, "do you realize that I am the corporal?" Well, General George Washington must have smiled a little to himself, but humbly he stepped down from his horse and he helped the men. With his help, the men were able to get the heavy beam up where it needed to go. The men must have been so happy for this extra help from the kind stranger. Now just imagine how surprised they all were next, because then George Washington spoke to the corporal. "If you ever need help like this again," he said, "call for Washington, your commander-in-chief, and I will come." The men were confused and surprised, and the corporal was very embarrassed. George Washington was a humble man and a man after God's own heart. No matter how important you think you are, remember, you certainly don't have more to brag about than God does. Keep your heart humble and make it a wonderful new day with Jesus.